I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast, your voice in my headset on friendship. Um, so a lot of stuff going on. Holy cow. Like it's like wow. Um, so if you're thinking I'm talking about you, score, you know. So if you think I'm talking about you, that's so cool. Like it's so cool. Like, wow, I've been able to succeed then. So the ladies have not had their coffee this morning. It's fine. Um, why is that so good, Mark? Because I've been working on for a while to uh, have people always think that I'm talking about them, so they like me, you know, so they so they like me. And so people want to be like the center of the universe. It's just crazy. Like when you see a small child and they just have to be like they have to be the center of the universe. It's just, I don't know, it's just fascinating to me. And you ladies can jump in anytime. So you want to have a question, you want to participate, it's fine. And if not, that's fine too. Um, and so a while years ago, probably 15 years ago, um, one of my daughters, um, I was talking to Frank Forte. He's a really smart guy. He did programming of, nuclear subs. Oh. Now, if I'm saying something positive, like, oh, it's so cool, then I'm talking about you, okay? If you're taking what I'm saying as negative, like, or whatever, then obviously I'm not talking about it. Now, you might think I'm talking about you, but I'm not. You might think he must be talking about me if he's talking about negative. That just reveals, your guilt, your own guilt, and you're just saying, I'm feeling guilty. And so that's on you. It's not on me, not naming any names. And if you think he must be talking about me, um, what that reveals on how small your life is. And so you think, well, there can't be another person out there that so I lay things down and people pick them up. What's interesting is when people pick them up and it's like, okay, it's a snake and they pick it up and it gets bit. I didn't get bit by laying it down. It's like, and they get mad at me. It's the strangest thing. Again, any of you can jump in at any time. Um, and so so this is a fascinating slide. It actually goes over a period of probably 10 years. There's different pieces. Like there's thousands of these models literally that I don't know if come into my head. And so in the dimensional thing, like the frequency here, So I was introduced to this by Frank Forte, and I was on a coaching session with him. And he says, Mark, you seem a little off today. And like, that's the kind of relationships I have with my clients. Like, I think they help me as much or more than I help them. If they're helping me more than I'm helping them, it's probably because just I'm a better student than they are. I'm looking for more answers than they are. Anyways, this was 15 years ago, and I said, it's weird, Frank, because I can go ahead and work an 18-hour day, and I have more energy at the end of the day than I do at the beginning. Like it's insane. It's like, okay, I get that. And I said, but if I walk in to, and I've got four daughters, so, you know, but it's not just my daughters. I mean, it can be, it can be my sons. They don't have as big of impact on me probably as my daughters do, um, which is fascinating. I haven't thought of that. Interesting. Anyways, so one of my daughters at this particular, and she's a teenager, so she's a teenager. She's a teenage girl. What do you expect? So it was just an observation. I said, I can walk in to a room with her. She doesn't have to say a word to me, and I don't have to say a word to her. Um, but my energy it's just the very life of me just gets sucked out. He laughed and he said, "Oh yeah, that's easy." I said, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "You're different frequencies." Now, I wasn't a big science buff. Matter of fact, didn't even like science. And I mean, I did like when I was in grade school, I think it was, and I looked at a microscope and I saw the water, on a little slide under a microscope, and I saw all the moving things, but it was like icky. It's like, yeah, when I'm drinking water, I'm there's all this stuff moving. Or like if you get a powerful enough microscope, you can see a desk, and your desk seems like it's solid. Any solid, you know, piece, it looks like it's solid, it's not moving. But if you get a strong enough microscope, you can see that actually it is moving. Like it's crazy. And so I remember as a kid, it's like I'm not seeing so much of what's there. It's weird. Never forgot that. And so I started studying frequencies because Frank Forte said, "Hey, it's you need to understand. You need to understand." Um, I'm like, so I studied frequencies, and so right in the middle of this, there's a radio wave, so it's all sound waves, and so um, like you can have a blind person in a room, and they can see things that people who see can't see. And so I spent over 15 years of my career on the phone talking to people, selling, consulting, coaching, and all I had was my voice. And so my voice became very attentive, or my hearing became very attentive, and my voice became very precise. And so a radio wave, so I studied this, and a radio wave, it's like it's out. And then you get into microwave and then infrared and visible and ultraviolet and then X-ray. And so that's a high frequency. So it's fascinating. Like with my three brothers, we used to hang out and every Sunday. And it seemed like my frequency continued to get higher and higher. And I could tell. I mean, we were at Camp Manitoumi in Illinois. We were all sitting out by the tree, and I said, hey guys, I just think it's probably best that I not continue on the Sunday. And they're like, oh no, no, Mark, we really want you to be there. Because I could tell it seemed like they were not growing. And I'm like, so I don't know if you all knew this, but if you're like a seventh degree black belt, your hands are lethal weapons. I think they're registered as a lethal, like a gun. And my understanding is, I could be wrong, but my understanding is that if you're a 7th-degree black belt and somebody tries to mug you and you kill them, that you could be brought up for murder because you could have used least, less lethal force. So when you study, like an X-ray, like, and I tried to explain to my brothers this, like one of the things when I discovered this, like 15 years ago, I said, hey, I discovered this thing. It's really cool. And I tried to explain it to him. I said, it's not better. Like there's not, a radio wave is not better or worse than an X-ray, right? Like it's not worse. It just is, right? It just is. It just is. It's just different. I mean, so radio wave is definitely better than an X-ray if you want to sit back and relax. If you want to see if a bone's broken, X-ray is a lot better tool to do that. And so it was weird. I was very clear when I was explaining to them. It's not better. But when I explained it to them, I said, I tend to be a pretty high frequency. And they got all like poosty on me. They're like, you're saying we're less than you. And it's like, okay, I don't know. And that's what low frequency people do. They just are. They just are. They so a high frequency person can go down, but it doesn't seem like a low frequency person can come up, even for a short period of time. But the higher frequency, it seems that you go, the more you don't want to really be around people. I mean, low frequency people like Ted McGrath, he went ahead and we were out in Southern California. And we were speaking together. He was speaking, I was speaking. I was probably, I don't know, maybe mid 30s, late 30s. He was maybe in his early 20s. And so we were, out to a restaurant after I was speaking and we were talking, he and I, and then there were like, I don't know, 10 other people and they were all talking, but he and I were talking alone. And I don't know, somehow we said something. I said, yeah, I don't like getting together. I don't like this. And he says, no, you do. No, I really don't. Then we argued back and forth. And then he, after a while, I said, what do you talk about that I like it? He says, you like yours and my conversation. I said, oh, I do. He says, what you don't like is you don't like low frequency. You don't like superficial surface things. And he says, that's what most people do when they get together. Like even over the holidays. It's just, it's like, but I get it. I understand. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you can live in that world, it's fine. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. Just live in that world. Talk about the price of milk or gas or, you know, like yesterday on a podcast, you know, a woman joined and said, I just want to catch up with everybody. I said, well, we'll go through. And I went through my stuff and then I left because, it's just weird to me. Like, why would I waste my time on that? And if you're a low frequency person, you say it's not a waste of time. And it's not for you. It's just not. And I get it. It's fine. This came from the Jerusalem Project. Ginger Ann will remember that. And so this came from, a sermon. That's why you don't miss. Like, just imagine, like, if I'd missed that one Sunday, didn't know it was there. So 6 steps to overcoming blindness. Clean your glasses, get involved, close your mouth, open your mind, stand on your story, humble your heart. Like, that's pretty good stuff. And this here is walls of opportunities. So, over the wall, under the wall. Ginger Ann remembers this as a kid because we trained our kids. This is the first thing we trained our kids in. Ooh, Lincoln he would enjoy this. Mikey would enjoy this. They would jump up and down over the wall, under the wall, grandpa, like, we're gonna blow it up, tear down. But then I don't know how many years, 10 years. And this is crab in the bucket. This came from right here. Ooh, I had forgotten that this was here. There's a crab in the bucket here. And then this is a next dimension principle. The 4 levels of coaching. We covered that yesterday. And then I'd forgotten this too. There's this here that's a frequency, and the higher you go, the higher the frequency that's required. And then I spliced this bad boy right here, and then I came up with this here. Which at the time, I only knew the five T's to stewardship: time, talent, treasure, trust. But temple and thought, seven. So there's now seven. And then the five H's: hope, head, and heart, help, heart, and hands. It's like a flower when you cut it and then you put it under a microscope and you see that. You're like, huh. If you don't heal, it's like you stop growing. And then this here, this bad boy right here is what's called a fractal. You use that word, say, oh, it's a fractal. People think you're really smart. What's a fractal? So it's a pattern. And these are next dimensions, and there's a bunch of them going up and down. So this actually I hadn't connected this. So I woke up this morning at 2 o'clock. Man, I'm like, I gotta get back to sleep. And I did tried kind of on and off until 3:30. Then I got up. And then like here, let's say, hypothetically you have somebody here. So probably going to be a pretty high frequency, but not guaranteed. When your life vision's bigger than this, you get over stuff. And then let's say, I don't know, you have somebody here. Again, just if you think he's talking about me, probably, I mean, I'm talking about I'm just talking about things and people. These are observations. And so, this person here is always going to look good. They just will. They're always going to look good. And they're going to always have friends, and they're always going to have people protecting them. It's magical. It's like their superpower is um, getting other people to protect them, getting other people. It's like, do they have a capability? And it's just weird. And these people are going to be always, it seems like they're always going to look bad, and they're always going to be taken for granted. They just will. That is going to be, that's going to be what it is. It just is. It's just how it works. So low frequency, what's fascinating about the low frequency people is like they're always going to struggle. That reminds me of the video about energy vampires. And he talks about in that video, he talks about you need two. You need one that's the victim and one that's the savior. And so what's going to happen is, and so high frequency, what's interesting to them is they're going to go ahead and learn to be on their own. They're gonna, like Ginger Ann said it's like learn to be your own level four best friend because you're always going to be put. People always think, always. I mean, I think this isn't always. This is not like 99. I think always. They're always, if you're a level four friend and you're a high frequency, people are always going to be considering other people and not you. They just will. And it's okay. Like it just is. It's okay. And it's fascinating. Like these high frequency people will go ahead and they will give you far more than the low frequency, but you will be taken advantage of. You just will. It's just the nature of the beast. And what's interesting is the high frequency people get used to it over their lifetime. They just do. They just do. They're just like, this is just how life is. It just is like this, and it's okay. And the high frequency people, they'll be thrown a crumb, and and they just appreciate like crazy. Like they appreciate like crazy. And the low frequency people, you just throw more and more after them. And it's like the low frequency people go ahead and attract higher frequency people, and then they go ahead and bring them into their bucket. And it's just heartbreaking. I mean, I don't know if it's heartbreaking. It's fine. It's just one less high frequency person out there because it's just how it's going to be. It just is. And if you're thinking that seems really negative, it's okay. You're a low frequency person. I get it. You want to live in that world, and I get it. And you want everybody else to live in that world. And the higher frequency you become, the more you accept that. You're just like, it's just is. It just, and it's okay. It's totally okay. It's fine. It really is. It's just, it's just fascinating. And so I haven't done, again, this is fresh right off of an amazing night's sleep and my mind just going wild. So I didn't articulate it great. I'll have to work on it for another, I don't know, 20, 30 years. But your heart, my heart just goes out. It goes out to the low frequency people that are given so much and don't appreciate any of it. And I go ahead and my heart goes out to the high frequency person that's younger. Like I'm 61 years old. So like I've seen this since I was a kid. And so I've had time to digest it and I process it, say, this is how life is going to be. I mean, it's just like, what was it, a year ago? I'm walking with my wife and I'm like, I just realized like one of my main purposes in life is to be screwed. She's like, you know, that's pretty negative. I said, no, it's really actually not. She's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, it purifies your heart. Ginger Ann, questions or thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Elaine, questions or thoughts?
No, I don't think I have any.
Nora, questions or thoughts?
No, not right now.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Thanks.
Thank you.